So for a game developer who's making a game they think is going to be a success, but they're a small team, should even they be thinking about third-party publishing?
I would say yes. We see that it's 30% additional revenue on top of your platform sales and a 20% additional in terms of units.
Today I'm joined by a gaming executive who spent nearly 20 years working across retail, distribution, partnerships, and product, and he's now built the infrastructure behind premium game distribution, making it easier for games to reach players and get your game discovered.
The reason why you're able to buy that game for $10 is because the publishers that distributed that game into the third-party market did not have control over their keys. It's insane how even the biggest organizations in the video games industry are so behind on how the industry actually operates.
We talked about how discoverability starts way before launch and how distribution decisions shape who find your game and why marketing is only part of the equation, and what the games industry still gets wrong about getting games to players.
You need to be everywhere, but you need to be everywhere in a secure way, right? So that your keys do not leak, because then your release is more or less doomed. In an industry like the video games industry, as a developer, everything is stacked against you. Everything tells you that your game will not be successful. So you need to increase your odds the best that you can.
From someone who once said he was done with digital distribution for good, but came back to help modernize it, please welcome this episode's guest, Chief Product Officer at VaultN, Adam Selcuk. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Super excited. So what I like to do is a quick rap sheet before we start recording. So Adam's a gaming product leader, guys. 20 plus years across retail, distribution, partnerships, and product. So we're talking about getting a premium game to players and making sure that can get bought. So he's now leading product at VaultN, where they have a very interesting product, and the focus is on improving the infrastructure behind premium game distribution. Now, Adam's very uniquely placed to talk about this because he's been part of kind of the 2-decade shift that we've seen over the last 20 years. And basically, I wanted to bring him on to talk about what do people do now, because there's a lot of new things people can do. There's different places to release your game. So very excited to talk. So let's get straight into it. So Adam, I
Yes.
like to start the podcast with a bit of the lay of the land. So if we're looking at 2026 and the way premium games are distributed, how different is that versus 2006, so 20 years ago? And I'm wondering, what should people understand about today's market versus how it used to be?
So it's not very different to how it was back in the days. It's just we know a lot more, but the way the product is distributed from publisher to end consumer is pretty much the same way. So if we go all the way back, the way publishers worked is with physical distribution. You would ensure that you get shelf space in your GameStop, like one of 40 slots. And if you got your product in there, you essentially secured your release. When we started digital back in 2006, most publishers didn't know, okay, well, what are these digital products? Like, how do we distribute them? So they applied the same retail model. So okay, we got a bunch of keys. Um, Now we ship those to our partners, and then they report back to us the amount of keys that they've sold. So very much trusting that your keys are
Go for it.
handled in in a respectful way and then in a trustful way. Um, but in most cases, like that didn't happen, or you would get different a different quality of reports coming back to you, like not in a standardized format. You would have partners reporting that, oh, we sold almost all products during our promotion period on discount, and almost none on full price. Um, so that is essentially what we are changing now. We're telling publishers or content owners, like, have control over your distribution. Like, don't put the keys out in the market. Like, there's no reason for you to hand over thousands of keys to a partner or lock up your inventory um, with specific partners. Warehouse them centrally on a platform. So that is what VaultN does. We warehouse the keys and then ship them to, or send them to the retailers when they need them. So
Wait a
when an
minute.
end customer comes and purchase a game, they request a key.
So why would you send a bunch of keys to someone and then they have the choice to sell it, feature it as they will, and then discount as you will? Like I would have imagined there's a bit more communication there. But now that I think about it, I guess there's so many games they can't really go too close together, right? I'm using the GameStop example. They
Yeah.
only
So
had 40 titles because of physical space. But I guess with a digital front, like you have the online space you could use, and also there's only so many people they can talk to because there's loads of games. But I'm wondering, like, why would you ever trust a platform like, hey, go sell my game how you see fit, and then they can come back and say, oh, we sold it at 50% off. It's like, well, no. Like, is that happening today, or is that used to happen? Just to understand.
it's still happening to an extent today. So that's what we're trying to educate them, the market on. Like, but if you look at why it happened and why it stuck around, it's when digital started, it was white label solutions. So publishers worked with a single partner. So they shipped all of the keys or the master install files to a single partner, and then that was then white labeled to the different retailers. Then we as retailers, so I'm coming from originally from the retailer side of digital distribution. I was working at like a CDON, like the Nordic Amazon, and what was important for us was like a white label storefront is not sustainable. Like, we're not going to sell any digital products. We need to be able to sell a digital game in the same basket as a physical product, because that's where the traffic is at. Uh, and that's how the first distribution API came into development. So now we're requesting keys in real time. Um, and yeah, back then, the publishers themselves didn't have the means of managing the distribution of keys. So the ones providing the white label storefronts became the ones maintaining the system to distribute these keys as well.
Okay, so if I have a game now
Yeah.
and I want to talk to two different people, because I'm imagining it's different strategies, but you can correct me. Like we have the indie developer, maybe they ship in their first or second title, and they're not going to put like crazy amount of money on it. And then you have like Titan games, right, where you have the games which everyone knows and loves, and they're going to release games. From my understanding, both of these type of developers are mostly using the older way, from my understanding, where they will go and maybe default to a Steam, Epic Game Store, or what have you. I just want to
Yeah,
make sure, like,
I
is
would
that what's
say
happening?
like most indie studios and publishers, like releasing their first or second game, they rely more or less solely on the platforms and stay away from third party, um, which is, it's like that worked in the past, but nowadays, like, the third party market almost represents 40% of the total market.
Whoa, wait,
Yeah.
wait, 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 wait. So if I'm launching a game
Yeah.
and I kill it on Steam,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I
Amazing. You
might,
need to do that.
of course, yeah. It's like I guess like for me, it's like if you have video content and you're not on YouTube, what are you doing? But like, just so I understand, if when you say third party, can you give me just a few examples of sites so people understand? Like I've heard of GOG, but like I'm not always trying to buy games. I just default to Steam personally because
So
that's
yeah,
what I imagine.
so you have the global players like Fanatical, Games Planet, Greenman Gaming, Humble Bundle, but then you also have like local players like H2 Interactive, Nuvem in Brazil. So you have global online specialized storefronts, and then you have the local market players that
So,
serves local communities.
so the local market player, I never even thought you could buy games with local market. So just to understand, like these are websites or are these like
Yeah,
physical stores? Both.
websites. We have the means to deliver to physical storefronts as well. That's a technology called print to receipt. So it's just a different way of delivering a digital key, but it's still an
Okay.
API connection.
So what should
Um,
I? You go on. Sorry.
no, so I was going to say like these, especially the emerging market players, are critical in getting your games discovered. Like they offer services that you would not get from the major platforms, and
Like
that
what?
so local payment methods, access to local audiences. They understand the culture much better than any global player, and can advise you on like how to reach out to the local communities.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Cool. So in a game sense now, so I'm making a game, and I've just discovered, hey, I have third-party publishing now to think about as well.
yes,
What do I need to think about? But maybe more importantly, like, is there any mistakes that people you see making when it comes to third party that people can just avoid, and you can just tell them, like, guys, please don't do this? Like, what's the biggest mistakes?
sure. It's a not knowing about it, or and two realizing it too late. So
Hmm.
if you're planning a release, like you should have third party market on your agenda a year before the release, so that you have time to establish the relationships. Because it's not a single like platform relationship to maintain. Like you need to sign with different storefronts, etc., or work with a service provider that manages those relationships for you, but you need to be involved so that you have a close
Sure.
relationship to your customers.
Do you have any examples of a game, and maybe because I'm trying to imagine, like, whoa, like we have these top platforms, but when you said local, I was like, well, now we've got every country we need to think about. Like, how many countries are even relevant? Like, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Like, I'm thinking, okay, mostly the Western world. Some other big countries will probably have a local website. But can you give me a sense of how many relationships does this entail, just so I can get a picture?
Like the very core, you would have like 10 15 players at the moment. What we're trying to enable is so that the way distribution worked before, like a publisher maintaining relationships directly and sending keys and assets manually to each partner. Like there's only a very small number of partners that you're able to maintain doing that. But with a platform and a centralized way of doing everything, like all the reports standardized, etc. Like now the distribution is covered, like how you deliver your games and assets to your partners is covered. So
Yeah.
now you can focus on maintaining more relationships. uh, and I believe that some of the most important players in third party market has not launched yet, because we are enabling publishers now to essentially create a shelf space wherever there is a demand. So wherever there is an audience, publishers now can quickly support a player launching a storefront in a way that they couldn't before. Like there wouldn't be any ROI for a publisher to support a new store launching with a crazy idea to yeah, for example,
Just
tap
because
into
the
influencers selling games, for example. Like
So like
people
that's
wouldn't.
because of the cost it takes to build that relationship, test it, and like, is there any other cost that I'm missing here?
Yes, it's signing the contracts, allocating keys to that partner, managing the account, um, all the operational sides, like ensuring that they have all of the product information to set up your catalog, get access to all of your pricing, and then maintaining whatever reporting format that they have on their end. Um, but with everything standardized, it's just someone to essentially switch on. So you complete the legal work, you sign it on the platform, you allocate how much stock that should be go to that partner, and then you're done.
Yeah, cool. So when it comes to third party distribution, you mentioned 40%. So
Yep.
when
And if we look at in our network, like aggregated, like from our partners, so we have both AAA publishers and indie publishers utilizing the platform. Uh, we see that it's 30% additional revenue on top of your platform sales, and a 20% additional in terms of units sold. So
yeah, that's such
it's
a high number
very
because
significant. Yes.
yeah. So can I get a sense of understand like what type of game this works for? Like, what's the biggest game you're comfortable sharing that you've tried this on? Like, I'm very curious.
So I can mention some of our partners. So which is also quite unique and is also the reason why I joined the company, because I've been in the digital distribution space for a long time. At some point, I was like, I'm done with digital distribution, because a couple of years ago, the sentiment that I felt coming from publishers were that we don't care that much about third party market. Like, we rather stop distributing than actually
Engage.
maintain and focus on it. Um, but then VaultN, the first partner that they had was Bethesda, and the first major release that they shipped was Starfield, and that was very successful. Um, so Bethesda liked it so much that they essentially took all of their third-party distribution and managed it through the platform. Um, and we had Take Two at that point in time that was also very interested in the solution. And from my experience, those are like the two toughest partners to work with, and they would also be the two partners that would be the very last ones to jump on a new service provider or a new tech. Like, they would wait
Yeah.
for everyone else to test it before they would jump on it. So having those two as or two of our first partners, um, like and then I knew that, okay, the sentiment is changing here. Like, there's actually a will and effort in ensuring that um, publishers take control over their third party distribution. Like, they're realizing, like, oh, it is actually quite important. Like, we need to be successful here. We can't just leave it to someone else uh, to handle it.
Yeah, for sure. Very
Yeah.
cool. So can I understand the demand that's going there?
Mhm.
Do I, as the person with the game, need to think about how to make this new platform succeed in the best way? Like, I'm imagining if I'm trying to publish into a new country, I need to localize my content, right? Now, if I'm trying to go on all these third-party websites, that might be lot more countries than I'm expected to do. Like, how do they want to be marketed to? So these are the questions I'm coming is like, whoa, let me just make sure the game gets launched first and gets published. But
Yeah.
when you tell me, oh, we need to think about this 12 months in advance, like for me, it does seem like there's a bit of extra work here, no?
There's definitely extra work, but there are also players that can help you do that extra work, that already knows the market, have established relationships. So if you look at publishing today, like, it used to be a very like strict model in the past. Like, a publisher does XYZ and they will always do XYZ, and they are going to take a huge cut of your revenue doing that. But nowadays it's become like so granular in terms of the services that people are offering, and also you have so much experienced people out there in the market that has done this for a couple of years now. Um, so if you're launching a new game, focus on your strengths, like get those nailed down, and then I would say, yeah, rely on service providers or partners. Like if you don't have time to sign 10, 10, 10 different partners, fine. Then don't do that. Like go to a service provider that can do that job for you. But at least have a very close dialogue with that service provider, so that you're in the loop and in control, I would say.
Very cool. So I have this. I thought, sorry, but I thought some third-party websites were like scamming the publishers. I was like, oh, they just grabbed a bunch of keys and started selling them at a discount. It's like, how is
Yes.
this so cheap? So I want to ask you a very direct question. Like, there, from my understanding, was a reason why a lot of people bought games from the main sites, and there was a reason I could only find it there. But from what I'm hearing, it's like, oh, these are just like the local Amazon. They would
Mm.
want to sell your game. But I'm guessing there are these dodgy sites still, or like, can you explain a little bit of that? Like, where does that bad press come from?
For sure. Like I mean, if you look at any type of product, like the price at what of which you can buy it. Like if I can buy if a game is 49.99 at Steam, but I can buy it for $10 on a different storefront, I would likely go to that other storefront and buy it for $10. So, and the reason why you're able to buy that game for $10 is because the publishers that distributed that game into the third party market did not have control over their keys.
Ah, so they gave the keys to
To
that
a
publisher,
partner. Yeah.
but that partner then decides what to price it as. And okay, maybe explain
Yeah.
this to me. Why would I give someone a set amount of keys? Why not just
So
give them a key when every time they sell? I guess
yeah.
that's what
So
the
there
product
are a couple of factors in play there. So it's like in order for you to do regional distribution well, you need to have a local competitive price point. Like
Yeah, localizing the price, I guess, is a way to say it.
exactly. So you have a regional price point. Like if you look at Brazil, for example, like the Brazilian real price is roughly 50% lower than the US dollar price. And if that key that you're selling at that price point is not region locked to Brazil or Latin America, yeah, then any consumer can go to that website, buy that key, and
Ah,
then resell it somewhere else. Um, and what you have is you have, yeah, storefronts, which their entire business model is they don't care if they buy games directly from a publisher or if they buy from someone else. They will buy it at the lowest possible price and sell it to end consumers at a competitive price, because the way they think is, if I don't buy it, someone else will buy it, and if they buy it, they will be more competitive in the market than we are. So they would love to work directly with publishers, but if the publishers are leaking keys to the market, then they will buy from somewhere else.
interesting.
Yeah.
So
So
that go on.
if you manage third party distribution, if you manage distribution with keys, region lock your keys, especially for lower priced regions, uh, and yeah, monitor like activations. I'd say like if you know when a key got sold, you can also check when a key got activated. Like um, if an end consumer buys a key, you would think that that person who buys the game goes and activates it on Steam more or less immediately after purchase, right? But if it goes 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, like
Hmm.
why did this person buy this key? The more days that goes, the likelihood is that that was not an end consumer buying that key. It was someone reselling a key to someone else. to be
Interesting.
sold later. Yeah. So there's a lot of things publishers can do to have control over their distribution. Our focus is educating the market and deliver the tool sets so that you get that transparency. Um,
When you get that data, have you seen any cool correlations? Because this is pretty unique, right? Like we haven't really had a situation where launch game to all these markets, get back data. I don't know. You might have seen stuff that other people haven't seen. Anything you've discovered worth sharing?
not that we can share yet,
Okay,
but it's something that we're gonna do more of later on,
exciting.
partnering with data companies to share insights on the third party market, because again, our goal is to educate the market of the importance of third party, the pitfalls, the do's and don'ts, and I believe like having connecting multiple data points, not only the ones that we sit on, will give much better content to share with the market.
I'm thinking back to the GameStop example. So there's like
Mhm.
a limited amount of shelf space.
Yeah.
You put your game on there. Great. Now we're going to try convert all this foot traffic. Now we have infinite shelf space, right? We got all the
Yes.
shelf space of the internet, and
Yeah.
we have a little shelf space area in Steam, a little shelf space area on this website. So we have the opposite situation where you aren't guaranteed foot traffic or
Yeah.
traffic. So I'm curious. Now we live in this new world. It's one thing to put the game out in all the places that have traction, which I think is kind of we've covered a little bit. But like, I'm wondering if you see any mistakes that people are making, or any if you have any tips of like how do we maximize the conversion. I'm wondering, just because you've been in the space for a while, anything you can speak on?
So first of all, you need to secure your presence on the platforms. That's crucial, right? And the platforms are constantly developing features how to make that discoverability better. It's not enough because they are very saturated. Um, so then it comes to like, okay, where else can I make my game present? And then like my advice is as many places as possible. So we have um, to quote Joe Craner, former VP of business development at Epic, that is advising us. Like we did an interview with him. Like for him, like discoverability is everything. Like the more time a user sees your company name, your game name, the better. So you need to be everywhere, um, but you need to be everywhere in a secure way, right?
Yeah.
So that yeah, your keys do not leak to the market, or because yeah, then your release is more or less doomed. Um, yeah, definitely with the oversaturation of the platforms, so like it's the digital shelf space, right? But as I said earlier, with digital shelf space, you can create it anywhere. So uh, what happened with Steam was obviously they had a huge player base playing Counter Strike, etc., and then they started selling games. So they created a shelf space uh, around their audience, which was very successful. Um, but now the audience is no longer solely on the platform. It happens elsewhere. Like you have YouTube, you have Twitch, etc. Depending on market, the audience are in different places. My advice is create shelf space where the demand is or where the eyeballs are, and try to convert as early as possible.
When you say convert as early as possible, you mean sell copies or pre-orders? What do you mean? Because early as possible implies before launch, or did I misunderstand?
Yep, pre-orders for sure. Wish lists if possible. The sooner, yeah, the closer you are to the eyeballs, the more you will be able to convert and sell, I believe.
Question: So a lot of people, when they come on this podcast, they talk about when we're referring to like marketing a game, we want to get Steam wish lists and hopefully convert as many of those as possible.
Mhm.
Now, I'm imagining these other websites have a wish list feature, right? I'm guessing.
Yes, some have. Yes, some have their own wish list features
So
for
that's
sure.
the part where I'm like, okay, I'm doing marketing in a area or like YouTube. Where am I sending that traffic? Because now I'm thinking, oh, should I always send it to Steam? I don't know if Steam's the best place now. What
Yeah.
if I try to region have a different region for each wish list? Is that something should people consider, or am I just like reaching here?
No, I think you're onto something. And I would say that the answer to that varies very much from release to release.
Mm,
Your game will cater differently to players in different regions. Like you can have a game that works really well in China, uh, and doesn't work really well in the Western world, and vice versa, right? Um, so knowing that in advance and diverting traffic to the right storefront would be like one of your success metrics in the future, I believe.
yeah, very cool.
And yeah, our goal is to connect the dots, so that you can see, okay, these are the amount of the wish lists on Steam and in third party market from each of your different resellers.
Why did it wait till now to have what you're talking about? Where you, because I was so shocked when you said, "Oh, they made keys, gave them to people, and said, all right, please sell them." And I'm like, well, why not just produce the key when they need it? I'm sure that's possible. But from my understanding, like this has been only recently possible. Like, why is this a thing now and not before?
So my answer to that would be yes, it is possible, but it's also very difficult to maintain. So
Okay,
right now who are distributing the key or generating the keys? It's the platforms, right? Because they are the DRM layer. So it's Steam generating the keys, uh, and you can divide. Then you're able to distribute those keys. You had players like EA and Ubisoft. They launched their own platforms, started generating their own keys and distributing those to the market. Uh, Huge development costs to
so this is
launch
not
those.
trivial because from my
Not
side, I'm like,
trivial.
that sounds quite simple, but this sounds like only like huge. Like I know Blizzard
Huge
does it, but
infrastructure cost
okay,
to do,
that makes
and
sense.
then also to maintain, because now you need to, like, whatever means that you have to distribute those keys. Like if you developed your own distribution API, okay, every new partner that you sign now also needs technical onboarding. And if you are to develop a new feature, well, now you need to ensure that all of your partners also implements that feature in a timely manner. Otherwise, they can't utilize it. So yeah, there are a lot of hidden costs involved in maintaining your own distribution technology, and unfortunately, it also limits you to the amount of partners that you can work with. Like, there's
It's a
no
great
chance
moat
that
that Steam
that
has.
yeah, there's no chance, like as a publisher, if you have your own distribution technology, that you would onboard a small local player in Asia. Like, there's no ROI
Yeah,
in the efforts involved in
because you're
doing
only
so.
doing it for one game or your 5 games if you're like Ubisoft in a given year. But Steam
Yeah,
has the ROI because they're doing it for most games.
yeah. I'm not sure how they got into the key distribution, but it became such a staple for publishers. Like, yeah, everyone is relying on it nowadays, and yeah, there's no way for Steam to stop doing it, like, uh, because
They're
there's
like a
such a
utility
reliance on
now.
it. Yeah.
So just so I understand, sorry if it's a stupid question. When I buy a key, are we just talking about Steam keys at this point? Like, is unless it's like EA or Ubisoft?
No.
So
So
there are other. Okay.
like we support distribution of any type of key, but we also support like new distribution technologies, such as direct entitlement. So there we have a direct integration with the platform provider. So we do this with UG, and working on doing it with Epic as well, where instead of distributing a key, so when the player goes and buys a game at Fanatical, for example, they sign into their platform account. So, for example, if they bought a GOG game, they would log into their GOG account. We would authenticate them in the background and add the game straight to their account. So there's no key involved after purchase. It's just available in their library. From a publisher point of view, that's a much more like secure way of distributing your game, because there's nothing to resell.
Cool.
So that's probably the future of distribution. Then how fast we get there for all platforms, that's a different story.
I have a very specific game in mind. I would love to ask your opinion on this. So, from my understanding, I don't know if you've seen that game called Mecha Chameleon. You heard of
Yes.
that game? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Single developer, huge success story. Yeah.
great. And I don't want to say I called it, but I'm gonna say this. Anytime I give advice on this podcast, which is very little when it comes to game marketing, it's like, of course, the game has to be streamable and clippable.
Yeah.
So in this case, the game is very streamable and clippable, and I say that's a big part of the success. And I'm now thinking that guy's example, right?
Mhm.
I doubt he did third party publishing. I mean, right? Yeah. So he's probably everything's going through Steam. So for a game developer who's making a game they think is going to be a success, but they're a small team, should even they be thinking about third party publishing?
I would say yes.
Okay. So now I'm thinking, why? Because if I'm making a game and it's purely through word of mouth that people find out, I'm not
Mhm.
saying it was purely word of mouth from Mecha Chameleon. Don't shoot me in the comment section. I'm just saying it had a bit of a viral effect. Like, why would that help that game? I'm just trying to envision the buyer's journey here. Like, why would that
Yeah.
help that game? Can you explain that to me, please?
So if your game is now present in multiple storefronts, like that tiny shelf space that you have on a platform might be slightly bigger in a market, and that viral moment that Mecha Chameleon got, they got global virality, but you might get that in a local community, because you got more presence from a local player, where like they understood that this game really resonates with the culture in that market. So it's just
So they would feature you. Is that the
it's
benefit?
just more chances for your game to be successful. Like and in a game, like in an industry like the video games industry, like as a developer, everything is stacked against you. Like
Yeah,
everything tells you that your game will not be successful. So like you need to increase your odds
for sure.
the best that you can.
Can I ask you, if I have a game and it starts, let's say, at 0 copies sold, it sells a few copies, sells a few copies, and then there's a big spike, and there's a lot of attention. If I'm have my game on my third party website, does the third party website then be like, oh wow, this game's converting well, we should feature it? Does that ever happen?
Yes, for sure.
And they don't ask for money when they do that, I'm assuming,
No.
because it's in their interest, which is now quite cool
Yeah.
because Steam has like very limited space, but like a local player is like, from the few games that we do have, this game's popping off, let's feature it. And now that's like a considerable amount of traffic, right?
Yes. Correct.
Cool. Now I'm convinced. So I'm like, I'm just trying to understand, like, okay, I get it, but there's not going to be that many players. But like that example there makes
Like
a lot of sense.
you think that you've launched your game, it's become a viral hit, and then like it's done and over. Like you will not have an uplift when you release it in the third party market. Well, that's wrong. Like you will definitely
Hmm.
have an uplift again. Like if you have that viral moment, you will have another uptick in third party as well.
And that's because just people are naturally finding the game, or that's just
Like those storefronts will do everything to showcase that
capture. Of
they
course,
also
yes.
have your game. So they will
Yeah,
put it
that's
front and
interesting.
center.
Wow. So that's capturing people who may have not bought. So I'm thinking like in
Exactly. So
marketing, it's
it's
the yeah, yeah,
maybe like for example in you have in Brazil,
yeah.
you have certain payment methods that are not accessible on through platforms.
Mhm.
Like you have a payment method called Bolito in Brazil, where the consumer goes and buys the game, um, but they need to go to their local bank to confirm that they bought the game, and that can take a day or two. Um, and those are the types of like payment methods that local players support, or they support
Yeah.
virtual wallets, things like that. So
Interesting. So for me, I find that very cool because I'm
or
thinking in
accept cash
marketing
payments.
terms.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So like I'm thinking in marketing terms, like let's say you need 7 touch points to sell something,
Mhm.
and someone has seen a few clips, they've seen a Spanish influencer do it, but they haven't thought, oh, let me buy the game. But then they're on a site, and then it's there, ready to buy in their local currency. And if they buy, that is a sale that could have never happened because they
Exactly.
would not be
Now it
browsed.
became accessible to that player that couldn't buy it through normal means.
Yeah, very
Like
cool.
that is why the market is representing such a large share
Very
that you
cool.
don't realize.
Nice.
It will only grow as emerging markets become more and more relevant. I was watching a couple of weeks ago when Selling Strauss, the CEO of Take Two, he was doing the investor report breakdown,
Mhm.
and I believe he said the U.S. market today represents 65% of the overall market, but the coming 10 years, they are seeing that the US will represent only 25% because the emerging markets will grow to such extent that
Oh wow. So he's
the
not
US
saying
will represent a smaller piece.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's a if
And that's
true,
over a 10-year period, but that's like
that's
10
still
years
like a
goes fast.
yeah, very fast. Yeah. That's already been it's already 2020. You know, COVID was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, insane.
COVID 2019. Someone said that to me last week. I was like, what? That is crazy. It's so yeah, time's flying. Wow. This is very cool. So how has it been with the business for 2 years now? So from my understanding, you got those two big players. Like are people waking up to it? Are people still kind of like, I'll do it later? Like,
Yes,
how's it been? Just curious.
I would say like at least for the AAAs, the two first years were educating the market, getting them to realize, hey, there's an issue here that you need to tackle and
Yeah.
actually own now. Um, and since then, like ever since we launched with Bethesda, we have had like very high interest um, from publishers, even from indies. Like, but one of my major like um, challenges at the moment is how do you offer a platform or a tool set to AAA publishers, like enterprise level partners that needs all the bells and whistles in terms of features, uh, while at the same time cater to indie developers that just want a really easy, simple way to get their games out in the market. Like you need to handle complexity and like a one-click setup.
Yeah.
So that's what we're focusing on right now.
Very
Um,
excited. I'm trying to do that as well. Go on, sorry.
no, so business is going great. We had a recent investor round where we got LVP and Sony uh, investing in our business. So
That's interesting because Sony own a platform as well.
yes,
Cool.
um, and Bethesda is part of the Microsoft organization. So
The best of both worlds.
yes,
No,
we
very
just need
cool.
Nintendo as well.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'd say good luck because
Yeah.
very far away and different culture. But hey, who knows? Um,
No, so
very
for
cool.
like for every new partner, like for every new publisher that we sign, we're able to grow um, the network wider because like
Nice.
we don't buy and sell anything. Like we're
You're the tech.
yeah, we're the tech layer. Uh, so every new partner brings their existing partners onto the platform. Um, so that is how we're like right now we're growing our network a lot in Asia to getting
Nice.
the local players on board, um, which is obviously benefiting everyone
Yeah.
that is
I
part
have
of
an
the
intro for
network.
you.
Sorry?
I have an intro for you for
Oh
Asia.
yeah.
Someone, yeah, someone who I don't know if I can mention it here. I'll say it after the podcast, but like he's got a ridiculous amount of internet cafes, and he helps mums actually buy the product for their game because it's
Nice.
the first time they ever bought a game,
Yeah.
and he's working on something which sounds very relevant to our conversation. So that will
Hmm.
be a good time. Ah,
Yeah.
very
Let's
cool.
follow up.
Yes, we'll do it. I'm curious for the rest of the podcast. I wanted to basically pay homage to the name of the podcast, the Gaming Playbook. So what I try to do is get your playbook. So you've been in your industry for a very long time, and it's an interesting one because it's a different perspective from like actually making games. And I was wondering, from the outside looking in, do you see anything, or when you talk to game developers or game publishers that like drives you nuts? That you maybe it's like, hey guys, have you considered doing this? Or I'm just wondering, with your perspective, if there's anything you think that we haven't covered that's worth spending some time on for the rest of the podcast.
Well, the obvious one is I think it's nuts that distribution has not been tackled in a like from a tools point of view until now.
Yeah,
Like it's been solved. It's been solved in other industries like before we started, like in payments, in mobile. So yeah,
wake up.
exactly. Rely rely on tech and tools a lot more. Like don't be like yeah it's insane how like even like the biggest organizations in the video games industry are so behind on how the industry actually operates. Like there's probably only a handful of even AAA publishers that really understands how the total market operates,
Wow.
and everyone else is playing catch up essentially.
Do you think there's room for hope in the games industry?
Absolutely. Like even in hardship, people will want to play games. So you have seen like in recessions, people still buy games and people still play games because it's in one way it's an escape as well, right?
Yeah, and it's deeply human. We've been playing games all our existence, I'm sure of, just different versions. I'm curious. Again, I appreciate it's a random question, but I like to ask people. So I was at a mixer this week, and I heard someone say, "Oh yeah, the games industry is too hard right now. Going to be pivoting to apps."
Hmm.
And when someone says the games industry is hard, like from where you're sitting, do you think that's true? Do you think we're in a lull because of COVID and people need to like just get their shit together? Like I'm curious, like when you hear someone say, "Oh, the games industry is hard right now," like it's so hard to stick out. Like, what do you think is happening?
I think it is hard. Like it's a like to develop a game. Like you need a level of insanity almost like because as I said earlier, like there's so much stacked against you that you will not be discovered and be successful. um, but the best advice I can give is start building an audience as soon as possible, like start building a community that can share the news about your game, and create those viral moments. Like even before your game is ready. Like share as much of information as possible. If it's your first game, share that it's your first game. Like be open with, um, like
Oh,
show that you're passionate about building a game, and that will resonate with people, I think.
I can't
Um,
wait to show you something. So I saw something on Instagram, and it's the perfect example of what you just described. So he's releasing his game in a month.
yeah,
I remember this guy posting a video last year. He posted a shout out to John Nguyen. So sorry, but I don't know if you've seen this Dino Blade. So if you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. So he had I think a student project or just a project he made,
yeah.
and he just released. Is he got a pinned one? Yeah. So he's like, 3 years ago, people requested a game from making
Is
an
it the
animation.
dinosaurs with swords?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen it. Yeah,
Well, guess what he did? He just made an animation. Said, should I make this into a game? 10 million views.
yeah,
And then he made the game, got like a bajillion wish list. Like, look, oh my God. This was a year ago. So he had all the validation before the
yeah,
game came out.
yeah,
How much did this guy spend on making the animation in time? Like for me, he's like, he found the audience
yeah.
before he spent much money. And then I found it quite funny because I'm a bit of a businessman and I don't like it when people are upset at people. So everyone's upset that he's planning for DLC. He's like, bro, you haven't even released the game yet. How honestly, you should just like not do that. And everyone's like, guys, he's made the full game and he's working on the thing after that. Why am I saying this? This guy's working on DLC for a game that hasn't even released yet because the validation is so clear.
Yeah.
And he released a short to validate it, which again, I know indie single founder found his way, but like I think this is a great example where he found the audience and he didn't have to go crazy. He
It's
made an
something fun.
animation
Yeah,
and different.
yeah. Something that is not out there.
Like when I saw the Mecha Blade thing, it's like, oh, it's prop hunt, but actually done better as a game.
Yeah,
It's not a I guess in hindsight, it's like, duh, but no one did it. And that could be you, right?
correct.
Nice. Based on this conversation that we've had so far, is there the person listening to this, right, is clearly interested in distribution, making sure their game goes well. Is there anything we haven't spoken about that you'd like to leave people with?
I just want to say that, like, from what we do, like our goal is to, like I said, educate the market, but also help people understand the amount of different players that exist in this space. We will not tell you who to work with or how to work with them, but we want to make it as easy as possible to understand who the players are. So, who are the retailers? Who are the service providers? If I'm launching a game, like what should I focus on? Like the pitfalls. So, we're trying to build an ecosystem and connect all of these players because it's a very fragmented market. Like you said earlier, when you're on coming from the mobile side, like it's super easy to work with. It's one platform to work with, but on PC, it's so fragmented. We're trying to make that into one, essentially.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Great. Adam, how can people find out more about you? Best way to get in contact if they want to continue the conversation with you?
I'd say reach out on LinkedIn, and that's the best way.
Nice.
Get in touch with me. Yeah.
Love it. So all the
Or
links
catch
in the
me at
chat.
Gamescom. I will be around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. And I'll see you at Gamescom for our mixer. If anyone's listening to this and coming to Gamescom, go to hivemind.world and maybe you can come have a drink, have some food. It'll be a good time. Alrighty. Adam, this is great. I've learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ari. Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone.